Welcome back. Matthew's here with the business. Hello again,
Hi, Claire.
Matthew. Now we're talking taxes today, starting with Apple, which has been criticised in the US.
Yes, getting a bit of a grilling there over its tax affairs. The US Senate, a committee there, saying that they are avoiding lots of tax. Nothing illegal, but they're not perhaps complying with the spirit of the law. Now, what it says they're doing is they're avoiding lots of tax, in particular by using Irish companies, because there's a quirk in the Irish tax law which means you can have a company based there but you're not necessarily resident for tax purposes. Now, Apple reported $6 billion worth of tax last year. That's what it paid, but the report says that it should have paid a further $9 billion. And one of these companies in Ireland is called Apple Sales International. It paid $10 million of tax on $22 billion of profits, which is a tax rate of 0.05%. Well, the senator who heads this tax committee said that Apple has been seeking the holy grail of tax avoidance, creating these offshore entities with billions of dollars while claiming to be tax resident nowhere. Well, this is all a precursor to a grilling that the chief executive of Apple, Tim Cook, is likely to get on Thursday from that committee.
Now that 0.05% tax is a fraction of what a group of people here in France are paying.
Yes, that's right. Some of the wealthiest people here in France say that they're paying 100% and even more in tax. Now, this comes out of the fact that last year, the new François Hollande government at the time put this new one-off levy on assets worth more than 1.3 million euros. It's had the effect of increasing the tax bill. And well, this is the proportion, or the numbers rather, of people paying 100% tax. You can see from one year to the next, it's gone up by about 60%. Well, for more on this story, this report from Catherine Viette.
Last December, French actor Gérard Depardieu waved bye-bye to France. The reason, the high tax rate. François Hollande's socialist government was hoping to tax those making over €1 million at a rate of 75%. But for some earners, they've been hit with a tax bill that's 100% of their income. 8,000 households have had to cough up all their earnings. The people affected are the ones with significant assets. Take, for example, this case of a single person who made €150,000 in 2011 and had assets of €15 million. He gets hit with a tax bill of €170,000. That's because the fiscal shield that had been set up by previous President Nicolas Sarkozy, which topped taxes at 50% of income, was removed by Hollande's government.
It's unacceptable that we could pay taxes, only a certain type of taxes, income taxes, wealth taxes, social charges, that we could pay more than 100% of our income. That's not normal. That doesn't exist in any other country. It's a really French thing.
The situation isn't new. In 2011, more than 6,000 households were already paying 100% of their income in taxes, possibly because they didn't know about the fiscal shield or they didn't want to give too much information to the tax office.
Well, we saw Gérard Depardieu at the start of that report. Now, of course, he left France earlier this year for Russia to protest against high taxes. Well, he's already
a media storm.
That absolute media storm. And well, here in France, he's a well-known businessman as well as an actor. He's got a restaurant here in Paris. He's got several wine estates here in France as well as around the world. Well, now he's deciding as well to be a businessman in Russia. He's going to open a restaurant in Saransk. That's the capital of the Mordovia region, in case you're passing through, Claire, where he now lives.
I'm not planning to, but you never know. All right, how are the markets looking, Matthew?
Yeah, let's take a look at Asia first of all. Markets there, of course, still trading this Tuesday. And as you can see, not having a great day of it. Markets mostly down, taking their cue from what happened on Wall Street on Monday. Markets pretty flat, but all slipping nevertheless slightly into the red.
One stock that was up, though, is Yahoo.
Yes, of course, Yahoo, all over the news on Monday and this Tuesday as well, after buying Tumblr, the photo sharing site, for $1.1 billion. Well, investors generally seemed encouraged by that. Shares in Yahoo rose by about 0.25%, but that was against what we saw happening elsewhere in the markets. And, well, of course, this is the first big deal for Marissa Mayer, the chief executive who joined in July. And since she took over, the share price has done pretty well. It's actually up, as you can see there. That's over over the last year by about 70%. Well, on Monday, Marissa Mayer promised investors that the company would not, as she put it, screw up this deal. That's because big companies often take over these much smaller, innovative startups and then just suffocate them really with all of their big workings and bureaucracy. Well, some analysts think that Yahoo will adopt an arm's length approach to this purchase. Let's take a listen.
They will own the property, but we think that Yahoo is going to keep hands off to a large extent, allowing Tumblr to kind of operate, but with, I'd say, some nudging to do more in the way of monetization.
Matthew, Yahoo's also relaunched one of its earlier investments.
Yes, now this investment was Flickr, also to do with photographs, more of a photo album service really. They bought that in 2005 and they relaunched that as well on Monday. Now this could be one of the examples that Marissa Mayer was referring to of investments they perhaps didn't make the most of because it's felt that it's lost its appeal to some extent. So the company hoping that with this relaunch they can get Flickr back to sort of being top of mind again and popular amongst younger people.
Okay, now moving on to South Africa and big changes in the wealth of the black population there. Over 4 million black South Africans are now classified as middle class. That's more than doubled in just 10 years. Our correspondent in South Africa sent us this report.
They live life in the fast lane and they're making sure they remain in the race. This new breed of South African executives is on a roll.
It's a bit hectic work-wise. Entertainment, drinking, stress, so come here just to relieve that.
South Africa's black middle class has more than doubled in almost 10 years. And despite the recession biting, expensive cars are still a high priority. About 500,000 new cars a year are sold in South Africa.
There's 2 cars in the world, a BMW and Mercedes-Benz.
Urban, fashionable and cutting edge, women are now contributing proudly to their household income, which is about €2,000 a month.
I have 30 consultants that are under me. Now, I'm earning a lot. I want to live like a champion.
The University of Cape Town study, dubbed 4 million and rising, noted that it was important for business and industry to better understand the rising phenomenon of the black middle class, fast becoming the hub of South Africa's domestic economy.
The white middle class, which used to be the basis of most marketers' activities, has not grown in the last 10 years. In fact, if anything, in real terms, is falling behind. So the future for marketers in this country is this new group of consumers who are just growing rapidly all the time. And secondly, they have such confidence about themselves and about the future that they're buying things which the white middle class aren't buying.
Marketers are already targeting the second generation of the black middle class. But it's about more than consumers spending, researchers say. The growing black middle class is crucial to the country's economic health in the future.
And Matthew, to wrap things up, you're going to tell us about the bad weather. Don't need reminding.
Well, we've all noticed terrible rain, heaviest rain for 50 years here in France. In fact, having a terrible effect on crops of fruit and vegetables, not ripening as they should, and that's pushing up the price. And also tourists, if you see them, they're like this with their umbrellas. And unfortunately, it's sending numbers down about 10% so far this year because of all these gloomy times we are facing.
I have to say, it's affecting morale too. Not here at France 24.
Of course not.
All right, thank you very much.